Today we're going to watch the viral Trump Ayahuasca clip that shows an AI generated video of Trump drinking ayahuasca and shows his life after that. And then I'm going to share some thoughts and comments.
I thought it'd help with the election, give me that edge. But what happened next, I wasn't ready. I saw it all, greed, lies, my father's lack of love, my mother's coldness. Demons, dark entities, everything I'd buried came rushing out. It was brutal and life-changing. So I left politics to heal myself. I gave away most of my possessions and I went to India, meditated with the gurus, met all the mystics, studied all the metaphysical schools, seeking the truth. I did every therapy, somatic experiencing, breathwork, and parts work. You wouldn't believe the things I tried. I purged everything I thought made me great. Slowly, the suffering started to fade. I started sharing what I'd learned. I created something bigger, holding space for others, an intentional community, and I led with love, guiding people to reconnect with their higher selves. They say I'm the greatest shaman now. Nobody does it better, and maybe they're right. It's a new kind of winning, one where I lead others to peace.
So really a beautiful, provocative piece of art. And it's really a gift to receive provocations, because for me, a piece of provocation reveals to me places in me that are not fully expressed. So the first thing that comes to my mind is I want to talk a little bit about this format of reaction videos. And I'm presently feeling very oriented to creating reaction videos and sharing more about my life and more about my spiritual orientation and learnings through this particular content format. And there is something really powerful in me and you watching the same thing, so that you track what it brings up in you and you compare and contrast that with what it brings up in me that I share. And that ideally takes both of us further along the journey of self-knowledge, because I have a clearer sense of who I am as a person. You have a clearer sense of who you are as a person, in contrast to me, because we are both looking at the same third, which is the video that we just watched. The first thing I want to speak to is the challenge of sovereignty. Sovereignty is this mode of being where I take full radical responsibility for my experience, including the most horrific things that have happened to me. And when you take into account that some of the horrific things that I've experienced, and perhaps you also have experienced, includes horrible childhood abuse, like I've experienced childhood rape, it can be very jarring at first to sit with this notion of full radical responsibility for everything that happens to you. Because it can jostle some of these beliefs that we carry of having been victimized in certain situations, which, when you consider something as intense as childhood rape, there is some truth to being victimized. Like, my being in this lifetime experienced victimhood in those moments where I was forcefully sodomized by men much older than me. And yet, if I were to trace back the journey of my soul from before this lifetime, then at least the Hindu karmic view of life, which I align with, says to me that, you know, these were fruits of actions from lifetimes before that brought forth this experience for me in this lifetime so that I can learn certain lessons. And one of the challenges of stepping into sovereignty from a place of this victim consciousness is that victims feel more comfortable around other victims. And there's a very beautiful psychological experiment that demonstrates this, where they put, they had a big cage, and they dangled some bananas in the center of the cage, and they put a ladder that a monkey could climb up to get those bananas. And they let one monkey in. The monkey immediately ran for the banana, and the researchers whacked the monkey with a stick. And so the monkey learned not to reach for the banana, which is what was its desire. It wanted the banana. They let the second monkey in, did the same thing. The second monkey was also conditioned to not reach for the banana. They let the third monkey in. They did the same thing, whacked him when he tried to reach for the banana. When they let the fourth monkey in, and the fourth monkey ran up the ladder to grab the banana, before they could whack him with the stick, the other three monkeys pounced on him and made sure that he did not get the banana. Same thing with the fifth and sixth monkey, and the researchers left the room, and still there were like 7 monkeys in the cage. There was no one anymore to whack them, but the bananas were intact, like no one reached for the bananas. And the kind of moral of this experiment was that past trauma can create these perceived restrictions and entrapments that may no longer be true. Like you are probably freer today than you think you are. The monkeys were free to go for the banana because there were no researchers in the room, but because of the past trauma that some of the other monkeys had experienced, no one went for the banana. So there is a real challenge in like stepping into one's sovereignty, where it may trigger others who are trapped in their victim modes of living to see you step into your full power, to your full freedom. And in a way, I see that in this video, where the first thought or reaction truly that came to my mind was that, lost hippies want everyone else to be a lost fucking hippie. And what I mean by that is that it's, in my perspective, Trump is absolutely living his purpose. He's he's already been president once of the greatest democratic nation on earth. And, I've had some debates on people about the US being the greatest democratic experiment. It's like quite ridiculous to me that needs to be debated, but I'm happy to get into that some other time. And he has a vision for this country. You may agree with it, disagree with it, but he has a very polarizing vision, which is his vision. And he's living that, he's living that purpose every day, to the point that he survived an assassination attempt. Like, how many fucking drum circle facilitators or ecstatic dance facilitators have survived assassination attempts for living their purpose? None. So it's pretty ridiculous to me, the thought that someone could look at him and be like, oh, he needs to drink ayahuasca so that he can live his purpose. I'm not saying that the video explicitly says that anywhere, but that is part of the sub-communication in it, in my perspective. And yeah, what I want to really emphasize is that, you could live your purpose without being fully healed or without being on an exquisite healing journey. If you are on an introspective, contemplative healing journey, it will support you living your purpose, but they are quite distinct. And this notion that Trump needs to go through an ayahuasca ceremony so that he could live a more purposeful life, handing everyone else medicine. Also, this idea that purposeful living involves like running intentional communities, becoming a medicine man or a medicine woman, and cannot involve like running like running for office in politics or making money, is such a constricted view of what true purposeful living is. Like each of us has such a unique offering to bring forth that if we all were just like fucking serving medicine to each other, or conducting drum circles, or running ecstatic dances, then who the fuck is gonna make the drums themselves? Who's gonna make the DJ sets for the ecstatic dances? Who's gonna construct the fucking houses for the intentional communities that you live in? It's like, it's very disconnected from the reality of living in the world. And it's a very constricted view of what purposeful living is. And I would present to you this provocation that Trump is actually living a purposeful life. And if you don't see it, then perhaps look at parts of yourself that are afraid of just offering the thing that you want to offer to the world. And my provocation is that you would find that there is some hesitation in you that wants to offer the thing that you want to offer, that is now projecting onto Trump as like not living a purposeful life. Whereas from my perspective, like running for the fucking office of the president of the US is one of the most like purposeful, powerful things a human could do. So let's like distinguish and discern between living purposefully and healing, and they can happen together. I'm sure Trump has unaddressed trauma to look at, like without a doubt, and that if he looked at it, it would support his purposeful attempts at changing how politics is run in the country. But he is living a purposeful life from my perspective. The next thing that I want to touch upon is money. And often in these like spiritual circles of that consist of humans who come from like jaded corporate lives where they worked in pursuit of money, and or like humans who come from wealth already and have just lived off their parents' earnings, there can be like a real disconnection and lack of appreciation for what money brings and this like collapse of a desire to earn money and greed. Like those are different things. And you can have a desire to earn money and to provide for yourself, for your family, for your loved ones without being greedy. Like that is possible. And sometimes all of that just gets collapsed into money is evil, everything money is bad. And when I encounter humans like that, like what I want to dive into is, what is supporting their lives? Like how are they financially supporting their lives? Are they happy with how that is situated? Like, are they able to provide for the people that they care about? And this is also another domain where there is so much secrecy. Like there is so much secrecy around money. Which through my exploration of like childhood sexual trauma and repressed sexual trauma, I really feel like secrecy is the bane of human society. Like we really need to create spaces for people to speak openly, speak clearly as to where they stand, and be able to have dialogue through that. And anything that supports more secrecy just like further leads to perpetuation of abuse cycles. which in my mind is often referred to as patriarchy by people of a feminist orientation, but it's really like the perpetuation of abuse cycles is a less gendered way of referring to the challenge that our society is facing right now. And I'll close with the one thing that I did find really interesting about this AI generated animation, which is like the link between trauma and physicality, where they showed Trump as becoming less deformed in his facial features and his body became fitter the more he went on his healing journey, which I actually really resonate with and agree with, that on a true soul healing journey that is not disconnected from your physical body will show those results. You will become healthier, you will become more attractive. Not just on a physical layer, there is like a radiance that starts emerging that honestly is just like a source of light. Like you become a source of light, and that is what truly attracts others. And the physical deformations in your body start dissolving because those are kinks in your physical system because of unaddressed and repressed trauma. That's not to say that the most physically attractive or the most physically fit is also the most evolved. Like I can imagine that would be a question that might arise in response to what I just shared. I don't think that's true, but it's like a one-way implication. Like if one is fully spiritually evolved, then one's physical body should reflect that. And unfortunately, we are in an era where there are too many spiritual gurus who have not taken good care of their bodies, and then there's a lot of shadowy behavior that emerges from them because they haven't addressed the repressed trauma in their own system. So I really liked how the video demonstrated Trump's own evolution, like his face lost some of its he kind of looks like a gnome. I don't know how to say that word right. Gnome, Gnome, gnome. In his he has like goblin like features a little bit, and I think if he were to heal more, some of those would dissipate. And on the flip side, you have like really attractive, physically attractive, beautiful looking politicians who are just complete pieces of shit. So it doesn't go the other way around. The implication is in the other way around. Like I think, for example, Trump is living a much more purposeful life than Justin Trudeau is. And Justin Trudeau is arguably more attractive than Trump is. I think that's it for now. I'm curious how this reaction video lands for you, and I'm curious to hear what it evokes in you. And like I shared at the beginning of the video, that the whole point of this is a journey of self-knowledge. Like you share what it evokes in you. When I contrast that with what it evokes in me, I learn more about myself. And that's the beauty of relating. That's the beauty of doing spiritual work in relationships, is that we both look at the same thing and see different things. And if we are able to compare and contrast from a place of open heart, I learn more about myself and you learn more about yourself. And it's almost necessary to do spiritual work in relationship with other humans, because if you're in a cave by yourself, then you are more susceptible to delusions. That's why they say that if you think you're enlightened, go spend a weekend with your family. Right, thank you so much for watching, and please like and subscribe if it calls to you.